What's up, my fellow flyers? I'm back again. Welcome to FPV RAW. This is your host, Ruben Hadegi, and welcome to the show. I am the owner of SweepwingsRC, and this is kind of a branch off of something I want to do and interact with everybody. So, yeah, let's see what happens. I have my very, very first guest here, Tim Butoff. He's the owner of Snipe Industries. He's going to be, he's going to tell us about himself, about his history, about how he got started, what he likes to do, and how he's helping me out as a manufacturing, a small manufacturing company. So we're going to try to, just goof around, talk, garage talk, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So, Tim, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm Tim Butoff, as you said, owner of Snipe Industries. Let's see, man. I haven't really sold much, been in the market for a while now, but a couple years ago I did start up a little business, something similar to yours, not nearly to the level of success that you've had, but I had something there, and since then, my main job is kind of forced me to take the business down a different route, and so now Snipe Industries is more of a hidden channel. I support other wing makers, and I do other CNC milling and work for other people. Do some sign work and some things like that.
It's keeping you busy, huh? Using all the equipment.
Yeah. The garage is my main home now.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time out there.
Me too. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I remember when I was getting to a point where I was like, okay, let's figure out like how can we work together. Like we need to work together because we're close.
Yep.
We've flown together. We've been on FPV trips, and let's use your equipment. Because buying the equipment, it's a huge it's a huge expense. It's you have to kind of utilize it to kind of get your money back, and when you have mills and CNC stuff, I mean you have to put them to use.
Oh yeah.
And so that's where you came in. I was like, man, shoot, I'm freaking working like a hog over here in the garage, cutting them all by hand. I was like, let's use this stuff, man. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that, it comes in handy, and in your expertise, you have a lot more, like using the CAD programs and stuff like that. I usually go to you. I'm like, I need some help. How do I figure this out?
Yeah, Chris, Texas Toast,
Uh-huh.
Chris Nelson. He's the guy that actually got me into the whole CNC and the milling and the CAD world. And so what actually happened was the first pod that I designed myself because he had a machine, and he said, you design it, come over, I'll help you cut it out with my machine. So I did that, and I was just blown away on how cool drawing something on a computer is, and then you make it into a real world application. So he got me started, kind of snowballed from that into making my own machine in my garage with roller skate bearings and plywood.
And the wife was like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, she was like, that's gonna work, huh? And we were both shocked when it did work, and it was cutting out stuff with a decent degree of accuracy, but then it just snowballed, and now I have professional grade milling equipment in the garage, and it's a good side business.
Oh yeah. Especially doing it yourself, you can't go wrong with it. I mean, you're learning a new trait, and it can, if somebody in the family needs help, they need a hinge made, or they need a bracket, you can at least help them out and draw it up, or give them like a prototype. It's kind of like, draw like the motor mounts, like, when I was cutting them here by hand, and they're like, and you draw it up and you give them a prototype, you're like, okay, that works. Like, holy crap. Like, that's a machine did that. You drew that up, and it freaking works. And you're like, holy, I mean, that's knowledge right there. important knowledge that can benefit for the future. And so that's a big plus.
Oh yeah, I love it. And you can do small things like when you can cut something, you're gonna have these jagged corners. In the machine, you draw it up, you make a little radius, make it nice and smooth.
That was me cutting them. Looked like alligator was cutting it. All right, well, shoot, man. Okay, well, I'm gonna give you this little section here. You could tell us some of your history, your builds, your DIY projects, and let's hear about your favorite crafts. It's what do you like to see when you're out there looking at a craft? Which one captivates you? Like, is it like just tell us, like, is it like a Piper Cub, or is it a SR-71, or is it a B2, or just stuff like that? So I'll give you the floor here, and you can fill everyone in your history.
All right, yeah, my history. I already talked a little bit about the beginning. Maybe I jumped ahead a little bit, but Chris Nelson kind of got me set up with the CNC stuff, so I started that, and then I started making the caliber, which was a pod design, and I made a pod out of plastic, and it worked pretty well to hold batteries and everything you needed, and then it allowed me to have a thin airfoil design, which is efficient. I know you like the fatter wings, more lift, and then I get that, but the route I took was thinner airfoils, more efficient flight. And it did good for a while. And then I had a company actually pick the product line up, and had a reseller out of the East Coast for a short time. But my main job had me stifled for the summer. I'm a firefighter here in the state of California. And so there was a few months straight where I was unable to produce anything because I was out assisting the fire crews, and not having the ability to fulfill my requirement as a supplier, they ended up dropping me.
That was the drought that we had. California had a pretty bad drought.
Oh yeah,
man, it was probably like a 6-year drought, and like
yep.
every summer it was it would get worse, and like nothing but fires. That's all we had was just fires out in the forest. So
Yep.
Tim was always gone. So that I can totally. That was. The fires were a big bummer. I remember that. You were pretty damn busy.
Yeah, well, that's my main job. I wish I could make a living solely off of RC, but at this time it's not possible. But it's a great job. I enjoy it, but it did keep me away from the shop for some time.
Yeah, I remember going to your shop. You had it was a huge pink. What do you remember what airplane that was? It was huge. It had like different sections. It was like
pink foam?
Yeah, the big pink foam board carrier. It was freaking huge.
Yeah.
What was that?
Foam and tape.
Yeah.
He now works for Flight Test.
Okay.
And he made a plane back in the day called the Cargo Twin, and now it's called the Guinea Pig.
I think it's called the Guinea Pig. Yeah. I
So-
remember him going up the channels, and
Yeah.
I seen him at a fun fly on their channel, and I was like, dude, this guy's got it. But I remember the craft that you had in the garage. It was freaking massive.
It never flew. I never got it that far, but it was a dream I had to make his plane, the Cargo Twin.
Uh-huh.
And what was it? It was like a 12-foot wingspan.
Damn.
Custom built out of that. Yeah, the pink Panther foam.
I remember that. I remember that, man. That was and that's that learning to build stuff like that, and that's why a lot of it's good history to learn how to build and to watch other guys online, and then you incorporate that in your builds, and you doing that and evolving it into the caliber wings, and then you had another one. What was the other wing that you had?
I had a carbine,
which
wasn't a wing. It had twin booms with the tail section. That one, I really enjoyed that one. That one took me over 2 years to perfect that design.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the end, I found out, because I'd have to cut the pod. I'd have to glue the pod together because it was polyacrylic material that, not most people have access to the solvents that require assembly. So I would put those together, and then I'd put all the spars. I gave everything to the kids, so it just turned out to be more expensive than it was worthwhile. I didn't sell a whole lot of those before going away for that last fire season where I said, all right, Sniper's going to have to hold off for a while selling their own kits. But it flew great. I've had multiple people contact me hoping they'll come back to market, but not sure at this point if that's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of guys, what they see is, they see a product, especially for little guys like us, back in the day, and they don't really realize how much time it takes to make something by hand. And in the market now, it kind of sucks because for guys that still cut wings by themselves or, they're developing it, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of hard work.
Oh, yeah.
And what sucks is, the manufacturers overseas, they see it and then they develop it and then they clone it. And it kind of like, us little guys, we're like, oh, damn it. Like how? You can't compete against that stuff.
You can't. Nope.
And because they sell product for that's dirt cheap. And you have all this time that you put into it, and you're like, well, it's like not even worth it for me to do it because here they come and they undercut me. No,
I hear that, man. The other flip side of that is this is a hobby. This is something people do an extra for their life. So, they want to stretch the RC dollar as far as they can.
Oh yeah.
So it's hard to blame them when they're going to China for all their material. Like, hey man, I'm right here. If you want a plane, we can talk.
Yeah, that's the only hard part is doing that and developing, and then you have another guy who wants to, to kind of like take some of the spotlight, and they're like, here, I'm going to make something that's even cheaper. Yeah, there's some U.S. companies that do that that are out there, but it's when you can support a person that's developing something, say, yourself, and keep it going, it's good. It's good for the community, and the community is very helpful. Like they're super, they're all integrated in all the other aspects of social media, so it's nice. Like everyone helps you out, super friendly, even if they don't, know you or whatever. They're going to chime in and kind of say, oh, that's interesting. I like that. It's very unique looking. And back then, it was cool. Like I never owned one because I was too busy in the wings, but it looked cool when I remember you were making them down the ways. So you can't beat that, man. You can't beat it at all.
Yeah.
The caliber, and you had the what was the other one you had? You had that. You just had those two.
Just the two, yeah.
And then you had some other prototypes that were pretty unique.
Yeah, the one that I was really disappointed I never have finished it. I guess I'm still working on it. Is the 50 caliber, which is basically the same thing, but as the 38 caliber, which is the wing size. But the 50 caliber has a pod with a special integration the way the wings lock in, so there's no spars running throughout from wing to wing. So you can just, by a matter of pulling on a lever, the wings will disassemble from the pod.
Yeah.
And I think I showed that to you.
Yeah, you did. I was fascinated by it.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I hope to continue venturing on that one. But at this time, where I got with it, it flew. I just had an issue with the airframe because it would be flying great, and then it would just drop the nose for some reason. I couldn't figure that out. I went through about 5 different prototypes, changing the airfoils and modifying the angles of attack and everything, and I'm still working on it. So, yeah, I don't want to put out a product that's not dialed in.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
You know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man, I do that. The runt, man, was the same little turd. It was just like, didn't want to fly. I was just getting it just right and difficult to build for some people. But, now that I got to a point, it's doable. It's doable. But that mechanism that you had was pretty freaking badass. Like, it was unique. It was very unique. And having, like a person like yourself making it out in the garage, dude, that's freaking is badass. So maybe we'll see it. I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so. Maybe we could do something together.
It looks
Put
cool.
Some flinch wings on it.
We can. The just having that mechanism, you don't see it. We have clips that screw in, that turn, and I've used that for some of my 3-part wings. But this is all like integrated. It was all in one. Yeah. And it was nice because he made a 50-inch breakdown into a smaller airframe.
Yeah.
And that's key for some of the guys with little room.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you want to travel, which, let's face it, that's where the hobby's heading. Nobody wants to just go to the flight field anymore. You want to go to the primo spots to be able to travel.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wants to go to those spots, especially, camping and and those FPV trips that we try to shoot for with our friends.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, what's your favorite aircraft? A lot of us have different aircrafts that we like. Like, is it like a Speed? Is it a slow flyer? Is it just a casual cruiser?
My favorite flying is done with a buddy. Just tandem flights. I did a lot of flying up in Chico with Mel, and I've flown a handful of times with you too.
Yeah,
it's just, the location between us, it's a little tougher to get to fly with you, but I did a ton of flying with Mel, and that was always what I really looked forward to. Either he'd follow me or I'd follow him. We'd aim for the top of a hillside. We're going to go there, and then we'd plan out our path and just trying to keep as close as we can together.
And that's tricky.
Yeah.
That's tricky. You got to have two really good pilots, and Mel's a good pilot. So
he's been flying for a while. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He has a good distance record too, man. He's doing pretty good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the whole FAA and FCC, that whole windstorm that came up a couple years ago, I think that kind of curtailed his expeditions to travel further. But yeah, he knows his stuff.
Oh yeah,
and it shows with those records he holds.
Oh yeah, definitely. And tandem flying is a lot of fun. It makes really good video. It's an interesting flight because you think of like full scale F-16s flying together, and they're looking over, and there's your buddy right there. Like your guys are flying in freaking the forest or the ocean or wherever, and it's cool to see. It's interesting video. It's interesting content. And I think a lot of people like it because it's different. It's different, and totally freaking awesome. And for you to fly, like what's your favorite part about flying? Like, what experience do you get when you put on your goggles when you get ready to fly out, or if you're doing line of sight or whatever? But like, what is it about it that you think about the most, like about flying?
Well, when I fly, I tell you what, I get nervous because I'm cheap. So when I'm throwing hundreds of dollars in the air and I'm kind of got my fingers crossed, it's coming back. That's the rush for me. You fly over a lake or one time I was following Mel, and he's like, "Hey, see that bridge over there? We're gonna go fly under the bridge, and there's water under the bridge too." He said, "We're gonna fly under the bridge, and we're gonna go up, do a loop over the bridge, and head back." I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. Well, Mel's on Dragon Link in 1.3 video, and I'm on 5.8 video and 2.4 control.
Oh, you're limited.
Like, yeah, why not? So right before we get to under the bridge, I'm following him, and I see him go through, start his loop, right as I lose contact with my radio, and I start diving straight down to the water.
Oh, man.
Talk about a thrill, right? So I'm doing everything you're supposed to do, jumping up and down with my hands over my head with the radio. And, man, last second, I pulled up, and I just beelined it straight back so I could take a breather. So,
that's the brown pants moment right there.
Yeah. That's you get it back, though. That's the rush, right?
Yeah.
It's back.
It made it. And as long as you had good video, too, that's another thing. The, flying with your friends, flying out there in the middle of nowhere, different stuff that pops up. And sometimes you get these moments that you're out there or you're unsure, something happens where you're like going out to the field and you forget. Like, one thing I wanted to talk about was, stuff that happens. Stuff that happens when you go out to a field, you're going flying with your buddies, you're all set, you've been planning for it, and you forget something. You forget your remote,
every time,
or you have a kick-ass video and you forget to turn the camera on.
Yep.
You forgot to hit the record button.
Forgot to charge the battery so it dies right after you launch.
Stuff like that. You always figure out. You're like, damn it! Because then you got to wait. It probably takes about about an hour to charge a bigger pack. We usually fly with bigger packs, so they take a little bit longer than the smaller packs, obviously.
I was talking about your camera battery.
Oh, your camera battery? Yeah, your camera battery's not that bad, yeah.
Mobius. That's what I was usually using, was the Mobius. And
yeah.
You don't know how long that battery's going to last.
Oh, man. Yeah, or if it even turns on, because they only have that one light indicator, and you're like, I think it's working, right? Is that on? Yeah. And then the run cam's like that, too, and if it blinks, I guess if it's constantly blinking. Or if it's I guess if it's on, see, it doesn't give you an on indicator. It's just like one light.
Yeah.
It'll blink or it'll stay on constantly. So like doing stuff like that, you're like, shit, did I put it on? I don't remember. Dad, damn it. Like the GoPro, usually if I hit it or if it stays on, and I forget, I'll get sidetracked, or if I'm looking around and checking everything else, I'll forget to hit the GoPro button. I'm like, God dang it. Just stuff like that, you just don't remember. So when you come back, you're like, oh shit, I forgot to hit the record button.
I saw a funny video similar to that. The guy is flying a gas model, and they launched it. They had it all spooled up. It was running. They launched it, and it just kept going straight. And he looked at his buddy, hey, did you turn on the receiver? No. The thing just took off. Never saw it again.
Flew back to China.
Yep.
Just kept going. The stuff like that. That's, to me, it's funny, but at the same time, you're like, oh, damn it. Because it's learning. And a lot of the guys who start out, they don't know. They haven't hit that portion of it. And even some guys who've been doing it for a while, you know, we still forget. We still, you know, we get sidetracked. Something happens.
I always forget my chair. Like sitting on the wet ground or something. I always forget.
Or lean against the truck, depending on where you're at. You're gonna get some good spot. You just walk out there. But the chair, yeah, definitely is a freaking must, especially out there in our area. It gets pretty dry and or wet, and so that part you want to get comfortable. Definitely want to get comfortable. One thing that bugs me the most, and a lot of people don't really talk about it, but I figure I'm gonna talk about it here. It's a little thing that your stomach likes to play with you, and you're getting ready to go out to a field, and you shouldn't have had that coffee because coffee makes you poop, and you're out there, you're all loaded up, and you got to go to the bathroom. That's like the worst. Mm-hmm. And usually if you're super anxious and you just load up everything, just go, got all your gear packed. You're ready to rock. Like you have everything. It's not like forgetting your remote. It's not like powering on your camera. But when you got to go to the bathroom out there in the middle of nowhere, that's like the worst. You got the bubble guts. You're like, oh crap, we're gonna have to wait. We got to go find a facility and handle business, and then we can go on to the adventure. That's one thing I do. I worry about the most. Or if you got to, you got to take a leak. You're like, shit, where am I going to go? Like, what's out here? I'm at a campsite, I'm at a field or a rest stop. You know, there's stuff like that you can probably hit up. But it's difficult, especially flying out there in the middle of nowhere. That's tricky, and that's one of my biggest fears.
Real world problems.
Hey, it happens. This stuff that nobody wants to talk about, but hey, you got to bring it up. It's life. We're all human, except for some of us. No, I'm just kidding. It's stuff like that. So, and talking about stuff. It's fun. It's fun stuff. The another thing that worries me is when dudes power up their systems, and they could be new flyers or they're in the area, and they power up, and you're like, oh fuck. Yeah. They don't identify what channel they are, and they just they're probably so used to flying by themselves, and they power up, and you're like, oh crap, shut it down.
Yeah, you know what? So many flyers now. There's actually been a few instances over by my place where you'll see somebody's video feed. You're like, where is this guy? You didn't even know he was out there. You'd be like a couple miles down the road.
You're picking him up too, man.
Yeah, it's funny. So that definitely happens a lot.
Yeah, especially with the 600 milliwatts. That travels some distance, and plus if you're flying high, that signal's getting distributed pretty well out there. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing that does happen. And for me, I actually had it on video. I had the dude's, he had an immersion transmitter, and his OSD popped up, and I was over the ocean. This was the FPV trip that we took, and I was like over. I was upside down.
You're like, turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
I saw his face and I saw his shirt, and then the immersion, I was like, oh crap. And it totally freaked me out, and I was over water, the ocean. There was no way to get it. And that was one of the things that freaked me out the most, because I was that high up there. Luckily, we were yelling. He shut it off, and I was high enough up over the ocean where it was. I was able to kind of grab the controls. And usually the aircraft I was flying, it was it's a floater, not like a toilet floater, but it was like it coasted. It was good, but that's freaking scary. And even when we go to the races, some guys will power up and they're in the pits.
Oh yeah.
And some guys are just freaking screaming, "Power up!" They're freaking losing their shit. They're just pissed.
Oh yeah, when you're racing, you don't have any time for that.
Oh yeah.
Half a second, you're done.
The hard part is, when you go to the races, you're amped already. Like you're like a chihuahua. You're just like shaking all the time, and you're nervous. And so stuff like that you forget. So when transmitter manufacturers come out, and some of them have. There's some. It'd be cool if they had like a little button where you can do like, say pit power on and switch the button on. And that way you can power on, figure out your channel, or the switch would like put it to like low power.
Yeah.
So you can actually see like whatever the lowest milliwatt you could check it out. And that would be cool, but I haven't seen anything too much. I mean, there's some, I think that's the Tramp and the Unify, I think, has like a pit button option. But they only have one button.
Yeah,
it's not like like these little VTX here have like they have pretty decent buttons.
Yeah,
I mean they're not too bad. But like when people power on, okay, I want to power on, I'm gonna hit pit or a little switch would be nice. Yeah. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Just a little toggle that'll just dumb down the load, and you can power up and make sure you can verify everything.
Yeah, if they did enough separation too, if they had the pits opposing from the racing where the racers are, because it doesn't take much to overpower. Like Mel, he uses a repeater system for his video, and so one time we're flying together, I looked at my video. My plane has 600 milliwatt. I'm like, okay, I can see it. Where his repeater is only like 25 milliwatts. So it looked good when my plane was right next to me. So I launched and I'm flying and I lose video and I start seeing Mel's video and I'm only a couple 100 feet away. What is going on here?
Was he doing like the 25 milliwatt ground station one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right that way he can walk around with his Fat Sharks on, and he's not tethered.
Yep. So yeah.
It took me a minute to figure out what the heck was going on. So I landed. I had to land visually, and then I was able to move his ground station when he wasn't looking.
Yeah, usually the ground station repeater system actually is. I found out about it, a couple years ago. I didn't really implement it in my system, but it helps out big time because your UHF system in there, and this is kind of before more advanced. This is going to be a little bit more advanced flyers. If you're running like UHF and 1.3 or 1.2, normally it's 1.2, definitely 1.2. I don't understand 1.3. When they say 1.3, they're like, oh, it's 1.3. Like 12.
I think it's just a generalization, right?
Yeah, I think it's a generalization.
Like when you say 110 for the wall outlet, 110, 120, 115.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I think that's what it is. But I'm like, it's 1.2. It's kind of like saying drone. It's not a drone. It's that whole fucking talk about it. But on the system, the repeater is nice because if you have the 5.8 system, you can the output on the 1.2 ground station receiver, you can plumb that into a 5.8, like a 25 milliwatt.
Yeah, keep it small.
And so that's actually transmitting on the ground. So you essentially don't have any cables. Mm-hmm. So you can walk around or sit further away, so your UHF isn't bothering your ground station. And if you can put a SAW filter, again, is a little bit more advanced, a SAW filter or the filter on top of the your more long range antenna, it just doesn't interfere. So it gives you that distance, which helps out. But if there's situations like Tim, like you're talking about,
yeah, there's a lot of planning that really needs to go into it when you're talking all these frequencies and different power levels. Things can get complicated pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
But it's fun. That's all part of the fun. I mean, we all enjoy a challenge. I think that's why we're in the hobby, because it's very challenging.
Oh yeah. It's a huge learning curve, figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and understanding all the hype and understanding all that stuff. So if you can figure out what works for you, then sometimes that's always the best. Because when you learn, that's why you push doing it yourself, DIY stuff. You're learning what you can get away with.
Yeah.
And you learn, okay, that didn't work that time, but this works better. And then you figure out, okay, it's understanding what you can do to better yourself as a builder and just as a creator in general. So stuff like that, you can't beat it.
Yeah, and you're always changing. I mean, my system, it changed all the time. It got more and more complicated, and I realized this is just a pain to set up, and so many points that can fail. So then I started going to the easier route to where I just had a little 5.8 antenna on my head.
Yep.
It changes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You see everything pushing all this product, and you're like, okay, well, this is supposed to be convenient, but then, like I said before, what works for you. If it's just a regular 5.8 antenna on your head, that's the best way to do it, and it just gives you convenience. It's compact, and when you travel, super easy.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about a big old ground station. But ground station, normally you're going to go longer range, obviously. Ground station, bigger punch, bigger antennas. And just doing stuff like that, and concentrating. Concentrating is tough. If you're going to go out to the field and you bring your kids, hopefully your kids are well behaved. Mine aren't. Mine like to run around. If there's mud or there's rocks or dirt and there's a hill, they're going to go after it. So for me, concentrating and staying focused is difficult when I go out there with my kids. They like to run around, so I'm constantly figuring out where they're at. So it's one of the biggest drawbacks. Or when your wife calls,
oh yeah,
are you done?
What are you talking about? I just got here. It's always the answer.
When you get back, can you go to the store? Oh, damn it. So stuff like that, just those are the little moments and the little segments that you just kind of experience, and it happens all the time. So hey, all of us experience it at some point. So just doing that, for our hobby that we do, that we want to see more happen. For you, Tim, what would you like to see happen in the future in terms of, the hobby, the sport, our culture, our culture for FPV, or just RC, and would you want to see like parks, races, arenas? Have you ever thought about that?
You know what, man? When you bring that up, what really comes to mind is how much I missed like when we first got into the hobby. It been like 4 or 5 years now, and I miss being able to show up somewhere, not really having to worry about people freaking out.
Yeah,
because every time we went somewhere back then, somebody'd see you flying with a remote control in your hand and something strapped to your face. Like, whoa, what's going on here? And then you land and talk to them, and they'd be like, "That is so cool."
Yep,
that's what we always got. How cool it was, and then. Man, it just seems like a lot of the environment lately.
The media.
Oh, that's a drone? I'm going to call the cops.
Oh, yeah.
You're not in the right spot to be flying a drone. Jeez.
They turned us into evil people.
Yeah. I'm just out having a good time, man. We're not spray painting anything.
Exactly.
What's going on?
Yeah. What happens with the media, they said, oh, no, now they're peeping through people's windows.
And that's where it started, right? We're spying on people.
Yeah, back then, what? They didn't have high def. They had standard definition, and if anyone would say that and looked into what we were seeing, I was like, we ain't gonna see no nipples. You can't even see a belly button.
No,
it's so bad. You're not gonna see anything. Plus, they're so high up or going so fast, you're not gonna see anything.
No,
and the crafts are so freaking loud. Like, you're gonna know something's out there.
Yeah.
So, totally. Like the whole culture, it definitely shifted. The FAA is now on it, and the AMA, and you gotta be certified. They
didn't have to worry about any of that.
Oh yeah. Well, now this is kind of like, this is my personal take, but now it's all money. Money is what drives everything. The FAA, believe it or not, and something I haven't heard is it's money. Those guys have been pushing. Or since the bandwagon started pushing for drones, and you're like, okay, well, let's implement laws. and let's do this way. So everyone jumped on board and got their pilot's license. You remember that whole pilot?
You had to be an actual real pilot.
You're like, guys, really? I'm not flying. There's nobody inside this toy.
This thing weighs 1 pound.
Yeah, it's like, why would I need a pilot's license?
Away. Yeah.
So that was all, bullshit. And that was money. Some people actually spent a lot of money on that, which sucked. So they jumped on board that. They made some money. And then you had to register. It was like $5 registration, and they were scaring people. So, if you don't register, you couldn't fly, or you can get in trouble, or some BS was going on. And so you had to pay $5. I had to pay the $5. I think it was $5 or $15. Anyways, doesn't really matter. I had to pay something.
Yeah.
So they gave me a number, and it was only because you had to have your FAA number to race at an event. Oh. And I was like, well, what the hell? Like, why I'm not even going up above the 400 feet legal limit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm staying below. I'm like under 100 foot. And, like, why for me to fly? I've been flying for years without your asses telling me what to do.
Yep.
Like, okay, here's $5. You know what? The hell with it. And so they made money that way. And now they have the what's it, the Part 107 now?
Yeah, the drone pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you to accept money, you need to have your license or be with somebody who has their license or something. So there goes more money that they're getting getting made pretty easily. I just got to say it.
And they still require you to fly line of sight, right?
Yeah, you can't even go beyond line of sight.
And you can't have goggles on, technically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
So it's crazy. It's that whole shift in our culture kind of put a damper, kind of hamper kind of slows us. It slowed us down, and which kind of sucks though. And they still don't even have their shit together. So this is one thing that I kind of see that's part of our culture that's kind of in a negative way, that they're not really helping us. And the AMA is making more money because you have to be part of a system, and to be part of a system, you have to give them money.
Yeah, it's always money.
And I had to do that too. They're probably going to revoke my shit, but you know what? Fuck it. Nobody's going to say it. I'm going to say it here. You guys can be pissed off at me. That's totally fine. I'm totally okay with that. But it's something that nobody really talks about, and so all this money is being put out, and you need to be obviously following the rules, which is what we've been doing for years. Some people haven't. You guys can think of, your own people that are out there who haven't been flying or haven't been following the rules. But when we fly in like rural areas.
Yeah. We're
not dive bombing.
That's what we find.
In front of the courthouse.
Yeah.
No, it's stuff like that. To me personally, I think it's really cool. I do enjoy seeing that. For me in my area, it's very iffy. But like I've been watching like Gabriel back in the day dive bombing and flying in Brazil, and that's cool because it's a different perspective. Is it safe? If the craft goes down and 2 pounds of foam hits somebody, yeah, it's probably going to hurt you. But
Steele's been doing a lot of that lately, right?
Yeah, he's been doing it in a couple locations. I think his recent one was like in Mexico.
Yeah.
But they totally get away with it over there because Mexico doesn't care. It's not like over here where people are so PC but you get a bunch of these nerds are like, oh my god, he shouldn't be doing that. I'm going to complain.
Yeah.
So all these doofuses are over there, complaining about shit like that. But it's interesting, and they they look at what time a day. There's nobody there. Like the big one on Rotor Riot was they went out and flew Thanksgiving, and people were chiming in, giving their 2 cents.
Oh yeah,
I was like, dude, there's freaking nobody on the road, and they had a sponsor.
Yeah,
or it's not a sponsor. Spotter. I was thinking spectator. I was like, it's not a spectator. But nobody was out there. It was empty. So that whole culture's been around for years, but now this whole shift, you get all these PC cops that are out there on the internet. So. Yeah. We're going to see more. We're going to see more of these doofuses pop up, and they're going to try to, type the keyboard and kind of correct us because they know more, but really they don't. They don't know that their crafts that the people are flying are pretty much sound. There are some doofuses out there, which, you know, it happens. It's kind of like the DJI guys that shouldn't be flying where they shouldn't be flying in the cities and stuff like that. They just don't know.
Those white quadcopters, I think, are the ones that
They
mess a lot of this stuff up.
I didn't want to say anything, but basically all of this happened because of DJI made a product that was so freaking readily accessible
And easy.
and easy to fly.
Yeah. You didn't have to know anything. You just charge your battery and then go fly.
It you know, it was kind of set into you know, an auto flight mode and gave any person without a clue you know, it gave them the ability to fly in locations where they shouldn't fly.
Yeah. And because they didn't build it themselves, well, if I crash it, I just go buy another one.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas you build it yourself and you know all the little nuances. You're like, man, I don't want this thing to come back. You know? I don't want to get lost or taken away.
Well, the thing is, okay, you remember the forest fires were back in the day, and this is something you can probably, you know, shed some light on. And the quads were flying because there was forest fires, and you get some, you know, some neighbor in the local area, and they're flying. They wanted to see it, and so that kind of put a hamper. Like the fire services were noticing this. The police department was noticing these white aircrafts, these little drones, these DJI products, and that shed on light for the media to kind of put a spotlight on us.
Yeah, and you know it kind of puts me in one of those middleman positions where, like, I totally understand both sides, right? Like, man, we want to be able to go take footage of this cool stuff. Yeah. And that's what these things are all about, like getting awesome footage. But at the same time, you know, they'll stop flight operations on a fire. Or, you know, right now we have an issue with the dam in California. There's a TFR around that because they want to fly and be able to do the work they're doing. Man, how cool is that video, right?
Oh,
if
yeah.
you can fly a drone 4 feet over that spillway, that's awesome footage. But
Oh, wow.
they have stuff they have to do, so we can't. And I totally get that because, you know, you don't want to endanger real life aircraft and personnel.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we need to work together. Unfortunately, when they put TFRs out for a fire and then a drone operator goes out and shuts down the whole operation, well, all those people, they start getting pissed because they can't go do their job.
Yeah.
We have a job to do and we can't because it's drone. That happens repeatedly. They don't like drones.
Oh, no.
I mean, they probably have them at home because they're cool.
Yeah.
But they don't like drones because it's stopping them from doing their job. So
Yeah.
that's where we really need to enforce our fellow drone operators. And like, hey, man, you guys need to lighten up here and think about what you're doing.
Yeah, it's the hard part because, again, they don't know. And companies like the DJIs or you know, the other companies that are out there, what would be cool to see is if you get this craft, you got to watch a video. Like you have to plug it in your PC to operate it. So when you get your craft, it's like opening a program for SolidWorks or opening a program for Photoshop or you know, Adobe or, you know, just the program. So you get your new toy and you read the instructions. Some of us do, some of us don't. But in bold letters, you know, to turn this on, you have to plug it in your PC and update it.
Yeah.
And register yourself. And, you know, you have to watch the video. And if you don't watch the video and, like, sit there and go through each, you know, don't fly over people.
Yeah.
Don't fly over fucking fire. Don't fly in the city. You know, go through that checklist before it turns on, before you can actually use it. I think that would help a little bit. And I don't think I've seen that. I don't think have read anything about that. Like you have to pass a test or you have to plug in your craft. Yeah, you have to pay for it, you know, do all that stuff. But
Well, I think there's rules that say, you know, you got to do all this stuff, right? You have to follow those rules, but there's nothing that stops you from like going down and just buying the drone and operating it. And even then, I don't know that it would be enough.
yeah, but at least it would be, you know, something to say, okay, we tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and you can't. I mean, they're selling like hotcakes still.
They are.
And I don't own a Phantom product or DJI product, but you know, something like that would be kind of nice for the person who doesn't know, that is actually, you know, following the rules. Say, okay, here's a quick little video. You watch this, then you can go out and fly. You know, it'll unlock your craft.
Yeah.
They look stupid. Don't fly over fires.
Yeah. Well, the big one is, there is, I think, an app for your phone, TFR Maps.
Mm-hmm.
And it's updated constantly. So that's just something people need to look at that before they fly.
Yeah.
And pay attention. I know it's a bummer when the government's telling you can't fly.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's only going to hurt the hobby if we do.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of these events are actually really nice because they're in somewhat secluded areas.
Yeah.
So, seeing that, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Like the Bay Area guys, like where, the guys that are racing the most are, the Bay Area guys. And so they have a lot of the events and they're fairly close to the city, but they have little parks that they kind of like figure out where to race, or they'll go to an actual flying field.
Yeah.
And do it that way, which is, it's already sanctioned and all that stuff. So that's actually pretty cool to see. So having that, and for places for us to go to race or just to fly, I think it's starting to change a little. There are some new RC parks popping up. AMA fields, we'll say, not really an RC park. Parks are still unlimited. The parks are still, people still freak out, right?
Yeah.
The dog starts barking and chasing after a crash. The owner's going to freaking freak out and start throwing rocks at you. So it's slowly. I think with all these race events like the DRL, the DR1, Multi GP, mainly from what I've been seeing on the, I even saw it on the Disney Channel or as like I was going through like some search and the DRL was there, and it was interesting to see. But what they're doing is they've populated the social media, so we could see it, and the public is seeing more of it. They're getting programmed. It's kind of like making it normal. Yeah. So it's a slow program that they're doing to the population, which is nice, for us because we're in the hobby. But they're getting grandma and mom and dad involved. Grandpa's seeing it, and they're going to sit down with the family, and they're like, "What? I see these red lights on TV," and they're going to sit down and watch it. So they're going to start to kind of lose that fear of a drone being dangerous, and especially in a closed course.
Yeah,
it's going to be an event.
Once they're out there and they've been out for a while and they haven't seen one out their bedroom window, maybe they won't
checking
be so
out while they change. I'm putting my chonies on. So stuff like that. The culture is definitely shifting, and that's what I was saying, shifting into a positive.
Yeah. Because
these events have been going on, like the Drone Worlds or the Drone Nationals in New York, and that's the one I went to.
Okay,
that was a lot of fun. It was kind of hectic. It was the first ever big event like that, and so it was kind of hectic. And there were some issues, and one of the main issues where people were complaining about is that the ferries that were out on the water. So the governor's mansion or the governor's island, it had like these towers that would shoot, the RF to the mainland.
Oh,
but these ferries would pass, and it was like clockwork. Would pass these beams, these invisible Wi-Fi beams, or the 5.8 bands or whatever, and they would pass, and it would cut the system out.
Oh.
So the feed out to the public would drop because of these big old ferries out in the freaking water, and so nobody's seen that. Nobody, they were having issues like that, and then where it was located, it was Wi-Fi freaking mayhem out there.
Sure,
and it was just freaking. It's New York. It was nice to have people there and people see it, an event like that, and ESPN was covering it. But it's not, it's like, it's a slow progress. People were kind of down in it, but you have to imagine what was actually going on there and the amount of setup.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Oh, dude.
That'd be one heck of an undertaking.
Oh, man. So, yeah. Whoever set that up, good for them. It was a little chaotic. There were some people that didn't really like it that much. But as a pilot at the event, for me to see everybody there and hang out with people, that was freaking so badass.
Yeah,
because I see them online.
Yeah,
but I'm freaking seeing these dudes.
Yeah,
holy crap!
Your East Coast counterparts.
Yeah, I'm like, holy crap, dude, what's up? I mean, to me, that was cooler than anything, and a lot of guys were like the companies that were there were more serious about racing because they had to win. Like,
Oh, yeah.
They were more hardcore.
Okay.
And so I was more there just kind of laughing and bullshitting and stuff. But, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. So people to see this culture evolve into an event, into, an actual real, hopefully race, evolution, like NASCAR, F1, GTR type.
Red Bull.
Red
That's
Bull.
where I want to see it.
Dude.
Red Bull races with the big
Hell
inflatables.
yeah.
That would be cool.
Or when they cut, those big old air gates, and
Yeah.
they have to do, they have to flip sideways to go through it, or they have to hit that to get points.
Uh-huh.
And they take turns, and there's like not that many racers, but they all go. Obviously, safety is a key, but you can probably get more with drones because there's nobody in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you crash out, that's even better for the audience.
Just let them all go at the same time.
It's like combat. It's race combat. That's what it is. But you have the gates, the Red Bull style.
Oh, those are cool.
And what I'm dreaming about. Yeah, the smaller wings are racing right now. Mm-hmm. But what I want to see is like these big dogs. Like I want to see the big ones with the company logo on them,
mm-hmm.
and a swarm. As many as we can get on the bands, like safely, and race with lights. Because we have LEDs, we know how bright they are. They're doing fine. You have strobes or whatever, but something that entices the audience.
Yeah.
And race through these air gates at 100 miles an hour, but these things are like 8 foot long.
Yeah.
Big monsters. I think that'd be pretty badass.
Agreed. That would be cool.
And the companies want to help out and say, okay, we have our own race drone. We have our own, like Robo. You ever seen Robo Race on Instagram?
No.
I think it's called Robo Race. I don't have my phone. Oh, it's like an F1 GTR car.
Okay.
With no pilot.
Oh.
There's no operator in it.
Okay.
So it stays on the course. I don't know how it would work, but I guess the company who can build the best motor or the best streamlined system would race, but there's no operator in there.
Wow.
Evolution, dog. That's how it works. So the culture is changing. I'm hoping to see it for the best. I'm hoping to stick around and kind of see what happens. Maybe we'll make we'll get into carbon fiber or something crazy as shit. Maybe a UFO.
A disc.
A disc.
It'll be a disc.
we'll find what's it called? That gravity, the zero. What's it? It's where it floats. It kind of uses it's a gravity, reverse gravity pulse or something. Some sci-fi bullshit that I saw in Star Trek. I don't know. Maybe we'll see it. Who knows?
Beam me up.
So stuff like that. I can't wait to see and see the evolution. That's what it's all about. So this hobby, we're still in the infancy. We're still learning from other people, and hopefully it's around for a long time where we can stay busy. Maybe Tim. Maybe you can retire from the fire department, and we can do this full time. That's what.
Yeah,
that'd be freaking badass.
Yeah, it would.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
Someday.
I'm on board with that.
Hell yeah, I'm totally down. My wife would freaking kill me though. I was like, honey, I quit. I quit my full time job.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make drones. What the fuck? Nah, I know if it happens, that'd be awesome because that way we can put more time into the product and just better a product.
Yeah. And
maybe have a prototype to show a company. Say, hey, look, this is what we got. Your logo here.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's going to be like NASCAR, huh?
Hell yeah.
Budweiser on one.
Oh, yeah. But was it Ricky Bobby?
Staples on the other.
Hey, it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah.
It's totally doable. We do have the real estate.
Yeah. Get the bigger wings out there, huh?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Like Australia's doing it.
Yeah.
They have the Freedom class.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. Chris was out there. He was recording. He was doing the recording of the live stream for the guys who didn't have access, and it was actually did a really good job. And so he was doing that, and he's kind of helping out there and running the Freedom class. He has a huge drone that I don't even know how big it is. I just know how it's like it almost looks like it's 4 foot long. It's freaking huge. It's a big ass quad. Sounds freaking gnarly.
Yeah.
But that's a higher end grade craft that I think a lot of companies would probably like to support that for sure. So for us, that's we make wings, and we're looking at one right now. But there's tons of real estate on it. Slap some logos on it. NASCAR, yes. Budweiser, Red Bull,
Viagra,
KY. So stuff like that. I think it's going to be curious. All of us are going to be kind of anxious, and we all want to make our mark, and just basically just see what happens. So this hobby, one little subject that I want to bring up, and before we wrap this up, is this hobby, believe it or not, is a money pit. Just saying, just FYI, it's a money pit, but it's a pit of love. It's a pit of love, and a lot of us that do this, we try to help you out, and that's why, like I said before, doing it yourself.
Yeah,
figuring out what works. If you're a builder and use YouTube to your advantage, it's free, and you watch those. You ever watch the Tron? What was it, a Tron 49 or the KFM 49?
Oh yeah.
Years ago, he was making stacked Depron board.
Yeah, Experimental Airlines, that guy.
Well, there's him there on. I think he's over there in Midwest. I think, I'm not too sure, but Tron was making wings, and he actually has a video and it shows how easy it is to build a wing. All the layout was there, and he did it himself. And we understand that this hobby is a money pit. But if you have something that you can build yourself, or obviously the camera you can't build yourself, but the cheap components to get started. So for us when we were buying motors back in the day, they're pretty freaking expensive.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
they're pretty pricey, and the prices are dropping. But to get started, you obviously need a camera for FPV. You need a transmitter and all that stuff is going down. But the main frame to learn to get started by yourself, there's tons of options out there. And so the money pit, it's there, but you have to figure out what you want to do, what you like, and how to help others. Definitely how to help others.
Yeah. Yeah, the outlet that really helped me out a lot was the RC Group Classifieds. Man, you can get some great deals on there. A guy just bought too many cameras, so he'll hawk one or two for a great deal. And, oh, God, I need that.
Oh,
quick. PM. Get back to me. Hurry. I'm on my lunch break, and I need an answer now. You know what I mean? And also selling stuff. I mean, there's a difficult market on Craigslist. Around your particular area, it can be difficult to find somebody that wants to buy your stuff. But man, RCgroups, at least back in the day, a couple years ago, was a great outlet to exchange products.
Yeah, it's still around to this day. RCgroups.com, tons of knowledge.
Yeah,
they have the classified. They have boats. I think they have blimps.
Everything.
They have everything.
Ornithopters. I think that's how you say it.
What's that?
That's like flapping like a bird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hobby King has that pterodactyl thingy. Did you see that they have a pterodactyl? I think it was a pterodactyl.
And it flaps?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I seen that. I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
I don't know if they cloned it or not, but how Hobby King rolls. You never know with those guys. No, I'm just kidding. They're good company. I was down in them, but it's all for fun. They have good stuff. I do enjoy their products, but I would like for them, if they do have a company that they want to clone, at least work with the company.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you know what? We're going to work with you there. We're making a crap load of fucking money. Well, we want to help you market your product. It's your company.
Yeah.
Let's work together. Let's just not take a dump on you.
I'm surprised because they actually cloned the Phantom.
The Phantom.
At one point.
And remember that it's a single motor, quad rotor. That was it Chris Youngblood?
Stingray?
Yeah.
Stingray, I think
the Stingray.
Yeah.
So they cloned that
too?
Yeah. So man. I don't know, the Youngbloods, the father and son made their version, and then Hobby King fucking swooped it up. Hobby King, shame on you, you fuckers.
But they've got to be like right down the street from DJI. So when they cloned the Phantom, I was like, man, there's going to be blood in the streets down there.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I'm sure we fucking night fights and shit. Fucking goddamn, fuck, what are those things called? Ninjas, what fucking...
Nunchucks?
Nunchucks,
yeah.
fuck. It's all out war in fucking China. But, I don't know how they operate, but what I would like to see is them help out little guys. What are they going to lose? They're not going to lose much. If we're doing a pretty good job, with what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, their investment on, their freaking RV that they have to buy and they have to drive it all across country. It's all marketing type shit. They're wasting money on, nudie girls walking around at some of the events. Some of them are drone nationals.
Yeah.
I mean, why not help a little company? They want to make a better product. Why not get the brains?
Yeah, the people who originally came up with the idea.
Exactly. That was one of the biggest things I noticed. I was like, man, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Stop being such assholes. Don't close my account and Tim's account. I'll be fucking furious. I'll definitely put you guys on blast. I'll do it. All I ask for is a discount code that works for me and Tim and my cousin. No, and my other cousin. No. Come on. But yeah, it's is a money pit. It can definitely get you broke very fast, in a hurry, in an instant, with all the product that's out there. And I try to cover the products as best I could, but since there is so many products, and Tim was here, he's looking at my motor cabinet. There's freaking so many motors that you have to get,
dude. You have a Craftsman toolbox with drawers, and they're all labeled what KV motors are in what drawer. You have so many motors.
I got a lot.
They're all brand new.
Yeah. Well,
and 2 of them are like as big as my forearm.
The hard part is, a company says, this is the brand. This is the brand motor that works. You need it. And I'm like, bull... Talking like Mike Tyson, bullshit. I got this brand over here that does the same numbers that nobody knows about. Mm-hmm. It's been around for, the same amount of time, but it works. And so I have to buy the motor that everyone wants and the motor that nobody knows about. And then I get the motor that, is straight out of China, straight out of Compton.
Yeah.
And you look at the numbers and you're like, holy crap, the cheaper ones are working.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like to help people out and say, you don't necessarily need the name brand to start out.
Yeah.
And if you're a new guy, you don't need that stuff. When you get better, go for it, because now you know.
Yeah. Well, man, you're hitting it on the head though. When you're starting out, the NTM motors, the Turnigies.
Oh yeah.
You can get $8 per motor.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take 2, please. That you get some dollar board from the dollar store.
Oh,
fold that thing into something that looks like an airplane and go.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And that's one of the main things that needs to be said more. I would like to see more people start out. There's people out there that are curious, and they don't know. They don't know what's out there.
Yeah.
And so you tell them that it's cheap, it's reasonable to get started. The remotes are dirt cheap. Go to Hobby King and buy a cheap remote that has a receiver. And that's all you really need to start out.
Yeah, see, I disagree with you on that one.
Ah, come on, Tim.
You can get the orange receivers for like $4
Mm-hmm.
and something that'll, the Spectrum module. But man, if you're into it enough to where you're going to start out, just go for a Tyrannus or an FR Sky radio, because that's where you're going to go anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, because it'll be with you forever.
That part you're not going to crash, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to fly away on you. And then you won't have to go back later and replace all these other things. Man, when I did that, I had a dozen of these little orange receivers. And like, well, crap, I guess I'm not going to use these anymore. I think I sold them on RCgroups for like $5 for all of them.
Oh yeah, it adds up, man. It adds up.
It does. So if you can do something like that, like you're going to keep the radio.
Yeah.
But man, your motors and things that you're planning on beating the crap out of, yeah, go cheap.
Oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. And so a lot of the companies who are probably listening, I don't know who's going to listen to this. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But it's not. We're not taking sales away from you. They're going to be back. They're going to be back. You have to wait for them to learn. Then they'll go to you. Then they'll figure out. Look, you don't even have to buy my product. And I've been saying that for years. I tell people that you don't have to buy it, but just learn. That way, I don't see it buried in the ground. I don't see it lawn darting because it hurts. A tear falls when a wing dies of mine.
That is one thing different about you and your business practices, Ruben.
Don't tell them that.
Why are you advertising the Banggood wing right now?
This is what I was talking about. Tim's one of the guys that I'm not that great at marketing. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good at marketing, but I'm not that good as a salesperson. And Tim tries to, keep me in check with that stuff because I can't help it. I can't help it. Honesty for me is relatively easy, and sometimes it bites me in the ass. Sometimes I lose a sale, but I know eventually they'll be back. They'll be back for more. But it's tough, and just for you guys to understand that, I think I feel better if I can help somebody out.
Yeah, well, that's something that is really noble about you and the way you run your business is, I see you commenting on everybody's. Hey, Team Legit. That was a cool run you did, or like you're talking to everybody. You're like everybody's friend.
I try to be,
and it doesn't even look like you're competing because you're just like out there having a good time, and that's what Sweepwings has always been about. Is let's just go out there, have fun.
Yeah,
and that's cool. I mean, when you buy a brand. What better brand to buy than just a good, lighthearted, fun time?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna be talking shit. We're gonna be talking shit too. It's all part. Like when you watch the NBA players, they're talking shit on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Get your game up. This is I'm gonna get you on the inside. I'm gonna screen your ass. You better be ready.
Yeah.
And it's all shit talking. That's what it's all about. But it's all fun. It's all for fun. It keeps us activated. It keeps us up at night. But like, damn it, how am I going to make a better product because he said my shit looks funny. So that's what it's all about. It's all for fun, and I'm hoping having Tim on the podcast. My first official guest.
I'm honored.
Keeping it fun, keeping it enjoyable. So with that, I think we're going to wrap it up. So Tim, is there anything you want to talk about? The wrapping it up project? Portion of it?
Nope. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, it's a pleasure, dude. We're gonna have you on again. All right, guys. With that, I'm gonna let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your day.